The time is now 6:53 on this Tuesday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
As of this morning, we've learned Duluth councilors voted in favor in an 8-1 vote on the transfer of the upper portion of the former Lester Park Golf Course to DEDA. So that acquisition allows redevelopment, including much needed housing on part of the golf course. Keep in mind, another section would be saved for public park land. The golf course has been in idle since 2020. This decision comes as Duluth faces a significant housing shortage, with city councilors saying the golf course property is one of the only city-owned sites capable of helping to fix the need. Next steps include a land use study, which would take up to 9 months and include another public comment period before any rezoning can be done.
We've recently reported Mannion's Wholesale in Superior is closing its doors after Northern News Now reached out multiple times. Mannion CEO Rob Mannion has clarified Mannion Truss is moving production facilities. In a statement, the CEO said they have made the difficult decision to move Mannion Truss production from Superior to their Pillager, Minnesota location. And while he didn't share exact details, he added that continuing production in Superior was not sustainable. According to the CEO, Superior Truss's operation is staffed by under 50 employees, and some will be able to transition into roles at their other companies. We are working to confirm when the change will take effect.
3, 2, 1.
A new outdoor area in Duluth is offering hope and a resting space for people in need. The Nest is a new outdoor gathering space located beside Union Gospel Mission in downtown Duluth. The space, which features picnic-style tables, is open for anyone to use for things like informal gatherings, outreach, and day-to-day connection with people who live, work, and receive services in the area. Union Gospel Mission partnered with Essentia Health and Heirloom Property Management on this project. However, the Nest is a temporary project as Union Gospel Mission plans to move its overall nonprofit to a bigger location in 2027.